Hello everyone, welcome to Two Guys and their Gym. You are currently watching episode 71.
Yes, 71 on a Saturday evening. And again, if you're wondering, like, hey, how come you're in the evening? I thought you're Monday night. So we're actually still in the midst of trying different timings because we realized that when we try different timings, we get to a very different audience and we want to
That's right.
get our message out there to as many people as we can. Today, we're going to be talking about online training. Whether it's online one-on-one training, whether it's online group training. I think the pandemic is something that has gotten many people to be open to looking into a camera and doing fitness. And if you told anyone 5-6 years ago about this, nobody will believe about on online training. But so many people are doing that right now, which is awesome. So just to get the ball rolling, firstly, thank you for being here, whether you're watching us from Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Comment below and let us know where are you streaming in from, where are you watching this from, and let us know what is that one thing that you want to get better at.
Just
Whatever
one?
it is. Just one. Because otherwise there will be a long list. Comment below what is one thing that you want to get better at. Let's start with you, Alvin.
The first thing that pops through my mind is cooking. Noel. I want to get better at cooking.
Yeah.
I want to be able to cook different variety of food.
But you actually cook a lot.
I do, but this is the same food, is it?
So Alvin wants to get better at cooking.
And how about you, Noel?
For me, actually, I feel like I have a long list. But I want to get better at reading. I want to get better at reading, meaning in the habit and the consistency of the setting time aside and reading fast. I know some people who can like read really, really fast. So that way I can just really absorb more information in a shorter period of time. Because I have all these books that I buy that I don't read as much as I should. So I want to get better at reading. If you're just tuning in, if you're just streaming in, welcome to episode 71. Let us know, comment below where are you streaming in from, and tell us what is one thing that you want to get better at.
Right. So thank you. If you are tuning in on Facebook and LinkedIn, we invite you to click on the share button so that you can reach out to more people. And if you're watching this at a different timing, please keep your questions coming, your comment coming, and even your answer. If you're watching this, we want to know because Noel and I get notified whenever you make a comment on our episode. So if you're watching this, please feel free to also comment any questions below because we are going to answer some questions throughout the live.
Great. So today's topic is online training, pros and cons. Just before we go into some of the things that we like about online training and some of the things that we don't like about online training, and we're going to get a chance to take some questions as well. What do you think, your overall thoughts on online training, Alvin? Do you think it's a good thing or do you think, what are your overall thoughts?
Now, I love this because I feel like we both come from two different sides of it. Being a personal trainer, definitely most PT out there, or at least I speak for myself, spend most of my time doing the physical part because people think like PT online doesn't quite work, whereas on Noel's side is a different, you do have your virtual training, you reach out to more people. And I think today's topic is so interesting because I see there's pros and cons to both. And I've been on both sides, both physical and virtual. And I'm sure Daily Muscles has been doing it since day one, And I'm excited to explore the pros and cons. And in the end of today, Noel and I are going to share both as an audience, like if you are joining an online training or physical, like a client's point of view, and also as a trainer point of view, because I know some of you are fitness professional and wondering, should I offer online training to my classes and to my clients, or should I just do physical? So if you are a fitness professional, you are gym studio owners, today we are also here to explore, is that a possible revenue making? Can personal trainers make money?
Online training? Well, we're here online right now, right? But if I can also shed some light on it, I can tell you that online training is the best thing that has happened to us, especially when the pandemic hit us and gyms were closed. That's when everyone went online to do things. And I'm glad that we kind of had some of the infrastructure up and ready. So we were able to keep people going with our group classes. And the training aside, it's just really fun that we were able to still gather people. Now, PT is different because it's one-on-one.
Right.
So we do group classes, and to have just the groups of people who are in a lockdown, cannot go out, people going crazy, but still able to see their friends on a computer and to work out together. So that alone was a very good start for those who were skeptical about online training. And to be fair, also, I think it's not everyone's thing, but I would say that we've had people come and at least try. And if they really can't, for whatever circumstance, I mean, some people just need to be there and they need to touch and feel and be in front of a real person. And I understand because everyone has different learning styles. But for us, again, coming back to my main point is that I'm so glad that there exists infrastructure and technology that helps us do online training. So I'm a big yes. I'm so glad online training happened. It helped us in so many ways that we're still doing it. We're still doing online training.
That's right. That's right. And I think that I like it, and you say that, knowing you, Noel, you always have the IT background support behind you, and you always go the extra mile with all this technology and gadget. Like right here, we got phone, we got cameras, we got all this preparing, and that's Noel. Let me ask you this, Noel. When the pandemic hits, how about other gyms? How about other trainers? Were they ready for this online training? Were your clients ready for it?
The clients had no choice but to go online. So that actually made the transition very, very easy because, hey, the gym is closed. What choice do we have? So everybody hopped on board. Some people loved it so much that they invested in equipment. They bought all the dumbbells and all of that. And until today, some of them are still training. So I'm just glad that we were able to push that through.
Right.
But at the same time, we did have clients who were like, cannot. They tried and they just couldn't do it. Or some of them live in such an environment where it's just not possible to train online, or they don't have proper internet access. And we will get a little deeper into some of the pros and cons of what these are. But I think generally the both of us agree that online training is awesome.
And they are here to stay.
It's going to be here to stay. People want to be, why make people choose whether you have to go online or you have to do in person when we can actually do both together?
Right.
And I think in terms of other trainers, I know many trainers who also, the same way as us, had no choice but to go online. And I think fitness trainers are very, very versatile and flexible.
Adaptable. Yes, we are.
So many trainers eventually just went very quickly on Instagram, on Facebook, on Zoom. We were everywhere, right? So that was really very nice to see. Some chose to keep it that way. Some have now gone back to fully in person. But what we do is we actually keep our online training still going on.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So if you are watching this, if you have an online trainer, please tag them here so that we know who they are and so that they are watching this and know that how they have helped you as their online trainer. So we're going to start off by sharing the pros of online training. So I'm going to pin it down here on Facebook. The first pro of having online training is it's easy, it's access. It's there at home.
It's accessible.
Yep.
So that means I don't need to drive to the gym. I can literally turn on my computer. I can just roll out of bed, make my coffee, turn on the computer, right? Continue drinking my coffee. And it's just accessible. And not just it being convenient, but I think in terms of like, we are a gym in KL. Right. We have a gym in Kajang. I no longer need to be in Kajang.
And I can just take your class from where I am.
Correct, to do an online session with you. So accessible in that sense. So wherever you are in the world. So during the pandemic, I think it was really cool because we got many new clients who would have, I think, if not for the pandemic, they would have never stepped into our doors here in KL. But because of online training being so accessible, people got a chance to experience what our workouts were.
Right. And I think during pandemic, we also did a class like with Lawrence in another country. Correct. I think it was in New York at the time. Right.
We had a fundraiser where we had an instructor from another country, a guest instructor, and we had participants from other countries all coming together to raise funds for orphan care. That's what we did.
Right.
So think about it. Like there's so much we can do. I think we are just really scratching the surface. So the number one benefit for now, we are discussing benefits first, and then we go to some of the not so benefits. of online training. The first thing that really jumps to mind is the accessibility, that you can train from anywhere.
All right. Now, if you are tuning in, we are talking about the pros and cons on online training. And if you have other benefits that we haven't mentioned or is not going to mention, please comment other benefits that cross your mind. So our first benefit was accessibility. Our second one would be flexibility, Noel.
Yeah. Flexibility in timing.
In timing, anytime.
Correct. Well, not anytime. Like it's 2 a.m. I'm not going to do a session. But online training, I think for a lot of trainers, opened up new time slots.
Correct.
Because now, think about it, right? If my client's at home, I don't necessarily have to drive to the gym, to commute to the gym. Let's say, what if my gym is 30 minutes from where I live? So for me to start work, I have to drive 30 minutes. So for now, what I do is sometimes with my online clients, I actually run the Zoom session from home, from my living room with my dog next to me. And it's quite hilarious actually to see my dog running around, but more flexibility for trainers and more flexibility for clients. So clients can wake up, straight away start a session early in the morning. Trainers can also meet their clients' timing in that sense. So flexibility in timing.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think during the pandemic, that's where most of us got the most number of workout done. Previously it's like traffic jam got to cancel. Like even my clients one-to-one got to cancel. Now it's that everybody at home, it's easy to stick to your workout program with the flexibility of online training.
Correct. There's no excuse. You can't say traffic, like I can't make it to the gym, because it became more accessible and more flexible to get your training in. And the thing about online training also, like from our experience, we are able to run more sessions. With a lower cost of running the sessions as well. Again, because trainers can stream from home. They don't have to drive. They don't have to pay the toll. So we can possibly deliver workouts at a lower cost. But I think overall, like you mentioned just now, people were getting more training done. So that's a real huge benefit there, because not only are we able to deliver more flexibility in sessions, but if you are able to get more training, you're more consistent with your routine. You're no longer just only training 2 to 3 times per week. Now you're training 5 times per week. Think about what that does for you in terms of your progress and whatever goals that you're working on. That's just a huge benefit right there.
Correct. And I think that this applies even to our current state, that if you have a trainer, you not necessarily need to meet the trainer face to face. The benefit of online training is you can Skype, Zoom with your trainer anywhere. And this reminds me, I remember during the pandemic, Noel, I wanted to meet a coach, and all I have to do is hop onto Zoom and meet him. He's in US, so that's the benefit of it. Instead of, having to fly there or, to meet in person somewhere in the middle, like in AFC, that didn't happen. So that's the benefit I get. To just
save a lot of money too, because it saves you a flight
of course
from going to meet someone. So yeah, if you just streaming in, we are talking about online training. Definitely something that you may have tried before or seen or heard before, especially since the pandemic. I think online training has become a little bit more mainstream, with many gyms and trainers now still offering online training. We still offer online training for one-on-one PT and also group sessions. What about you, Alvin? Are you still doing any online work? Online doesn't have to be a workout class. It could be an online check-in. How are you doing? Show me your meals, your food diary. It could be anything. Do you do any of that with your clients right now?
So it's more like an online coaching. So what I do is I design the program, I give it to them, and we kind of communicate through Google Sheets, Google Drive, and we share videos and pictures there. So it's just like holding them accountable through a platform. And I know that there's actually a lot of platforms out there. Like one platform that became really, really famous during the pandemic, Trainerize. And I know a lot of trainers are using that the platform has exercise videos and calorie counting and everything to monitor trainer to her clients.
Yeah. And speaking about making things easier, like just now you said that you don't have to travel to the US to meet with a coach. So another huge benefit of online training is really the cost of it. Think about it. If you are staying in another part of Malaysia, but the gym that you want to go to or the trainer that you want to work with is all the way in KL, either you quit your job for a few months and you go to KL, or or save a lot of money and work with a coach remotely online. And I like what you do with your clients, which is the checking in, and not necessarily just the workout and the spreadsheets. So there's many components that hold together the whole online training. It's not just a face-to-face Zoom session. There's the apps that you can use for them to monitor. Are they drinking enough water? Are they getting their meals in? Tracking their workouts? So it actually is pretty comprehensive. And you would realize that actually when you do online training, you can kind of almost keep a better eye on your clients because all the information is there versus someone who just comes and sees you 3 times per week and you're writing things down. So how we do it also is that we do a combination of both. So we have clients who we have spreadsheets, we have things and tasks listed out, and they have food journals that they email and go back and forth, and we meet them in person. So there's almost like a combination. I would still call that online coaching with an in-person component right there.
I think the benefit of that, Noel, like, to my clients, during the training, when client comes for a PT sessions or client join a group session, is we focus a lot on the training, and they actually have a lot of questions to ask. I say, I want to ask you about food, nutrition, and sleep, and this and that, but then don't have time because physical class is very limited. Like I see my clients for that 1 hour. I, as a trainer, I want to maximize it on training. But then when it comes to healthy lifestyle, there's so much more other questions I'm sure you as a client want to ask your trainers, right? So online training or online, the platform, the communication happens that, it allows you to reach out to your trainer more. And I feel like during that period, me and my client communicate a lot more through WhatsApp. Sending this, sending that, and that communication kind of stays on right after today. So I think that opens up more ways of communication.
So if you're looking at these 3 benefits that we just discussed, which is more accessible, right? You can train from anywhere. Which is the flexibility in timing with online training, especially even sometimes if you think about pre-recorded videos. If you're watching a recorded video, that one you can kind of play back and do a workout at 1 a.m. if you want to, right? So some flexibility there. And of course, the cost savings. Looking at this, I think sometimes another huge benefit that was not in our notes is that you are able to actually see better results. Because there's this doubt about online training that this online training is not going to be as good. Will online training be effective because I'm not at the gym to touch and hold your dumbbells, which is true, of course, right? So gyms do have more equipment. But just to highlight also that we've had many clients, and I'm sure when you were coaching a lot of your clients online as well, Alvin, is that people saw as good results. They can see very good results even though you are training online. And that's what we've seen. It's just really a preference on whether people want to continue online. Some people prefer face-to-face. To be honest, I prefer a mix. I'm totally okay with training online and even getting a workout and having a coach watch me via camera online. But every now and then I wanna show up in person and just know that you're a real person. So there's that. The benefits are still there, even though the training is online. I think that's a huge message that we want to get across, that online training is and can be effective to get you closer to your goals.
Yeah, I guess that one of the key things is that if you really want to train with that coach, with that trainer, or really want to try the classes over there, the different experience, online is there. So just do it. Like when I wanted to train with my coach in the US, there's no way during that time I can fly there and train him. I mean, the cost-wise, the opportunity-wise, no way. But online gives me that opportunity. So during the pandemic, I use that to train, and he monitors me. Now, I'm not going to say that it's cheap or what. He still charges his same hourly rate, as if I'm going to see him physically, but it gives me that opportunity. The best thing is I can train with anyone, anywhere. I can take any class anywhere. So that is the one of the most top benefit I would say of online training. And as a trainer, so that's the beauty of it. See, you can offer yourself to anyone around the world. Like right now, I have my studio in Kajang. I only can see like these people who wants to train, looking for trainers in Kajang. But hey, I can put myself out there. Who wants to train with me? I can design a program for you, and you train in Italy, in elsewhere, and whatever is it. So that's the beauty. And you can actually make a revenue out of it. Yeah. You know, like just now, Noel, you mentioned about shooting videos, right? I think we had a conversations with our mentoring that time that you can shoot exercise videos, sharing tips, and sell them. You can use YouTube as a platform, unlisted videos, and sell them and get them to pay you through PayPal. That's one way to make money if you're a fitness professional, and you still can do that right now.
Yeah, and bottom line is, again, I think that online training makes fitness a lot more accessible, makes fitness with your favorite trainer, favorite gym more accessible. Less excuses for people to say that, oh, it's so hard to go to the gym. Well, no, guess what? For maybe $20, $30, you could buy a pre-written program with exercise videos, and then you pay a little more and you get to check in with a coach, right? So a lot more easier that way than to go to a gym and sign up for a 1-year membership, which is probably like the traditional way of doing things. Great. So fantastic reasons there. I think like even if we just ended the show here, we've convinced everyone that, hey, online training is worth a shot. But at the same time, there are, like you said, pros and cons. There are disadvantages as well to online training. And what are some of those, Elvin?
I would say the first one would be because the trainer is not there. One of the huge disadvantages is unable to see whether your posture is correct, your technique, your form, whether you're doing an exercise. So the best thing they can do is the trainer look through the videos, try to get his or her best assumption of whether you're doing correct.
Correct.
And so, fingers crossed if your video quality is good.
Correct. So that's a technology limitation there, correct? So if you don't have a strong enough internet connection, you don't have a camera set up properly, and if your coach can't see you and see how you're doing, because if your laptop camera facing the ceiling and when you go down, your coach can't see you, I'm trying to look, right? Then there is the chance of not getting proper feedback and communication about your form and technique. So that's one of the downsides.
And that's a bit slow, you see. When I'm with you, Noel, I can straight to say, Noel, move your shoulder here.
Correct,
it's more instant, whereas through video, it's going to take some time to, okay, I need to push this back.
Correct. Absolutely. So that's one limitation there. I was going to say that, of course, a really good trainer and instructor can still give very good instruction. But then again, it's really also down to preference, because some clients, they can hear you say, move your knees a little further behind or point your toes outwards, for example, hearing them, but then they can't see you there. It's very different from you pointing and saying, move here, put your foot here. It's a very different example.
They're more like a visual learner. They need to see or they need to feel.
Correct.
Yeah, instead of audio.
Correct. So that's one downside of online training. You may not be able to get the kind of feedback and technique correction and form correction as you would get with an in-person one-on-one session.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. And then the next downside or disadvantage is really the whole issue of being consistent. Some people, when they are committed to a gym where you show up, your trainer's waiting there for you, they're going to show up.
You make an appointment, you have to show.
Correct, have to show. Online class, or let's say it's a recorded video, or if your coach sends you a video of a workout that you're going to follow, but there's no appointment set, the chances are a bit higher that you might skip that workout, or you might reschedule the workout because, hey, there's no one there really waiting for me.
Right.
So that's one of the downsides as well. It's very easy to cancel. You're still at home. You might just want to get back to bed. So that's one of the downsides. And a bit of, again, because there's no face-to-face communication, for some people, there's a little lack of accountability there because it's just through the camera. You can kind of, in a way, hide from the whole thing.
Correct.
So that's the one downside.
Correct. I like that because I remember when I was doing online check-in with my clients, it's very hard to pick up like their body language as compared to when they come to see me. I can straight away tell, oh, this client is stressed. He's had a bad day at work.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to tone down the training. I'm going to ask him or her different sets of questions. And with virtual, it's just like, oh, yeah, hi, how are you? All right, let's get to work.
Yeah.
It's very hard to feel. So I can feel that, when you talk about accountability, it's hard to connect to them at a personal level to make sure that everything is okay with online training. So that is one downside for me, especially when I'm doing one-to-one, because we are so used to being in person, that personal coaching, that personal space between me and my clients.
Yeah. So you don't really get the same experience, showing up in a class. So when we do group classes, right? It's just they just zoom in, and then and then the class is over, and then we end the meeting. That's it. It's done. The human connection isn't there, and again, that eats into the accountability. It's so different from showing up to a group class in person. Because what happens after the class? Sometimes you go near, hey, take a selfie with your instructor. Your instructor's asking you, so how was your day, and so on. This informal conversation doesn't happen. And that actually makes a difference in someone's fitness journey. Because if you think about it, when you go to the gym, you don't just go work out and leave. We stay on and we have a bit of a relationship building there with your instructor. So that's something that you're going to miss out.
I think it works both ways, for clients' perspective and also for trainers also. Like online training compared to my physical training, I feel like after the client step out and walk back, I feel happy. I'm like, yes, I make a change. Whereas with online, seeing them in Zoom feels like, oh, okay, more like a task is done. Next meeting. So it feels like that. The human connection the feeling.
That's true. Next disadvantage would be this is so true. Distractions, right? When you're at home, tons of distractions. Just like how if you're working from home, tons of distractions. Maybe it's the kids, maybe it's a pet, maybe it's the in-laws, maybe
renovation.
Yes, my neighbor is renovating right now. My God, right? So there's all these things that can kind of affect your experience, right? You want to stay engaged, you want to focus, but then you have all these distractions. You have your kids screaming. So it definitely is one disadvantage.
I got a question to ask you, because I know you do way more online training than me. What is the most funniest distraction or something that, when you or your colleague or your trainers is teaching, something happens from client side or from the other side of Zoom, and maybe you pretend, you're like, okay, let's pretend not to see it, but it happened.
There's a lot of little things that have happened, but I can tell you one incident that sticks on my mind. One of our instructors was traveling. She was in Hawaii at that point, and she was still teaching the class, even though she was not in Malaysia. It was so windy. She brought her laptop. Her MacBook is so light. The wind blew the computer away. She was teaching the class, and the wind blew the computer away, and it fell. But the connection was still there. She picked it up and resumed the class. Right? So that's hilarious. We've also heard stories of people like kicking their pet accidentally. Like the dog is there, and oops, I stepped and kicked the dog. We've heard some of these things. We've heard about some clients who accidentally hit something that fell down and broke, right? So there's all these things which really can happen when you're doing anything at home, right? It's just that we hear the stories because, it was during a class. But thankfully, we've never had anyone get injured. Like, we've never seen any injuries take place. So distractions. We're talking about distractions as a disadvantage to online training. But whenever these distractions happen, it kind of makes you smile also. I get to see client's house. I get to see,
their background.
The background, the maid, the husband yelling at them. So remember to mute your mic when you are online training. Next one is probably more applicable to what you are doing, Alvin, personal training. The next disadvantage would be
no access to specialized equipment. Like some of my personal training clients come to me is because they want to lift heavy weights, very specific movements. They need the tools, looking at bars, machines, bands, very specific bands and movements. So of course, online training, you can't have that at home. So that's why.
Well, they can, unless they decide to set up a home gym, which I don't know many people who would do that.
Yeah.
So PT especially, correct. So
do you have that? I think like for group classes, the instructor kind of like cater the whole program to the needs and equipments available.
Correct. So for our group classes, we do have some classes which are body weight only. But then again, it really depends. Like your clients come to you with very special needs and very specific goals, which body weight alone isn't enough. 2 pairs of dumbbells at home isn't going to be enough because you want to do certain exercises and movements with your clients that need all that equipment which you've invested like tens of thousands in, and it's at your gym, so your client doesn't get full use of that. For us, group classes are more generic, right? People just come, they want to get a good workout done. Yes, we can have a strength class on group on Zoom, but I will see that on Zoom, I can see all my clients at home in the group class that their weights are not heavy enough. Yes, it's pretty heavy, but if they were in the studio, I'll be like, this is the weight that you need.
Correct.
So you get some progress there. So that's another disadvantage about online training. You can get a workout done, but you may not be able to get closer to your goals compared to being in the studio, getting the right equipment, the right weights. And to be honest, dumbbells and kettlebells and barbells, as they get heavier, they're very, very expensive. Most people won't invest. Like, I'm not going to buy a 3,000 ringgit barbell and keep it in the house, right? But in the gym, we can, because it's the facilities for everybody. So that's another disadvantage of online training.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
If you're watching this right now on Instagram or whether Facebook and LinkedIn, if you have any questions for us, or if you want to try an online class, do you have any online trials going on for your site? No, right?
On class,
because it's 101. I'm able to offer an online class if anyone wants to try and see what it's like. Just drop me a message on Instagram and I'll be happy to hook you up. And then you have a better idea of like, what are these guys talking about, and actually experience an online class. If you've never experienced an online class before, I invite you to go and try. Find one. There's many gyms actually still offering online classes. You just need to look for it. At the same time, some gyms have completely stopped the service altogether, which I think is a bit of a shame, because there are still people who want to train online, who want the convenience of training online. We've had in our gym people who started training online since the start of the pandemic, and they haven't stopped. And they haven't stepped their foot into the gym yet for many reasons. One is, of course, there's still the fear of the pandemic. Also, there's distance, and people's work schedules have also changed.
Maybe they adapted to the routine already.
They've realized how convenient online training can be. And for all those benefits and advantages that we mentioned just now, they realize that it's so much better. It fits exactly what they need.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Like we're mentioning about online training, it's beyond just the workouts. Like one thing that online training also includes, like courses. Like you can pay, or programs, you can pay a fixed fee and you get the courses, and you can see the instructor going through in terms of nutrition, in terms of flexibility training, very specific fitness related goals, like how to rehab from an injured ankle, knees, and the programs are there, the instructors, the videos. So all these are online training. But I have to say it, Noel, because I have like online courses available and I give them to my clients. I said, I'm seeing you physically one-to-one, where I want to maximize our time for training. But at home, I want you to watch these videos. And they do. Most of them do watch. I find that, however, not many people, or at least within my circles, willing to buy online courses to learn. Do you get that, Noel?
Yeah, everyone wants free. In Malaysia, it's like, it's not free. I said, no, it's a cost, right? But I understand that. So I'm doing what you're doing, Alvin. A lot of our resources, nutrition strategy, motivational coaching are all in videos that we actually give access to our clients. And it's just become a value add to their membership. Like, for example, all Daily Muscle members have access to our entire video library of every class that we've done online. There's like 400 videos. They can pick their favorites. They can pick their instructor. They can pick the class that they want and do it at their own convenience. So very true. Like, people tend to hesitate to pay when something is like downloadable. And again, I think Malaysia has this cetak rompak, pirated CD mentality kind of thing. So that is definitely one kind of another disadvantage actually about online content.
And I think the audience here was asking also just now on Facebook is that, do you think online training is suitable for beginners or not? Or is it someone like needs a little bit of experience, then they can kind of pick it up? How about you answer in terms of like group training, small group PTs?
I think it really depends on that person. Some people are very fast learners. If you're very visual and your coach explains something and you can get it and you can move properly, and you're a first timer, then there's a good chance that online training is a great way for you to start. Because it's such a very low barrier. You don't have to drive, or maybe you're nervous to meet your coach, but you're not so nervous to see your coach online, right? But for, again, because you say first timer, right, beginner, if they've never stepped into a gym before, there's also the risk of them really not knowing how to move, the awareness, just the body postural awareness. It can be very frustrating for the client when you're trying to give an instruction and if they just don't get it, it's frustrating both ways. So that might discourage a first timer. So it's one of those things that I think you just probably need to have like an intro session rather than straight away, here, sign up for 3 months. Like, no, let's try first. Let's have a chat online first, see whether there's chemistry online. Like we have a trial for our online classes. And for my one-on-one clients that we do online, we actually have like a check-in call as well, just to check in, just to talk, because during the online session, we focusing on moving, just like what you do. So the check-in session, again, just helps to talk about all those other things that we don't get to talk about during a class. So coming back to the question, whether is online training suitable for first timers, it really depends on that client.
And also depends on the trainers. What kind of trainer or what kind of service are you looking from the trainer? Like, you're looking like a very specific target sport related goals. You need to have a little bit of experience to take the program, to take the information and apply it yourself. And of course, the most important thing is you need to have the discipline, because honestly, a lot of informations are out there. Aside from online training, you can get good information on YouTube, on paid program. In the end of the day, is whether you're going to do it.
Correct.
So you said you got 400 videos out there, Noel. How many of them are going to go back and let me just watch these amazing workout videos from Noel on where?
Yeah, well, some people do, but you're right. The chances of people not doing it are much higher as well. And then I laughed just now when you said that it's because another thing also is you really have to look for a trainer who's experienced or has some experience in teaching, because giving instructions on how to move is a skill.
Correct.
It's a skill. You can't just say, push up, put your hand there, put where, right? Go down, go move here where, right? So there's very clear cues that a certified and qualified experienced fitness professional will be able to give very clear instructions and teach you how to move. Someone who's probably never took the time to learn the skills will struggle. Correct. And I've seen this happen before.
On Facebook.
I've seen instructors giving out instructions and then I don't know what I need to do actually. So it matters also. So shop around. Again, so we're still kind of answering that question just now, which is it suitable for first timers? You got to shop around and see whether do you understand what your instructor is saying, and then but yeah, definitely give it a shot. If we could leave everybody today with a call to action, so like, what do we do after today? Is to go and find an online class or do or check out an online program, because maybe all this while you are not able to travel to the gym, or you're not able to afford a program, which in person may cost you a few thousands, but online maybe there's a different version that you can download and you can try. So find something that you can pick up or a class that you can try online, and let us know how that goes.
Yes, and if you have any questions, we invite you to post your questions below, whether is it live or at a different timing, because Noel and I will always come back to these recorded sessions, recorded episode to answer them. If we don't reply or answer you in a comment, we're going to take your questions and put it on our following episode.
Great. Awesome. So thank you all for tuning in our little discussion here where we were exploring the pros and cons of online training. Online training is here to stay. We are both big believers in online training, but as we mentioned in today's shows, there's advantages and disadvantages as well. Anything you want to add to end today?
Maybe a little invitation that if you have any questions, or if you looking for an online trainer or classes or gyms and you don't know where to look, reach out to us, send us a message, and we'll try our best to point you to perhaps, right now you can even do like rehab and stretching and address anything online. Anything. You just need to know where to look. And if you don't know where to look, just reach out to us. Noel and I are more than happy to pin you to the right person or right direction.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, everybody, for spending your Saturday evening with us. Have a good rest of the day. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you next week.